What's going on, guys? Welcome back to a brand new video. So today we have a very unexpected topic to go over, and that is the crossover for Season 3 Reloaded. Apparently it has been already leaked, and that's what we're going to talk about today: the potential operators coming with this crossover, the event, and everything we know about it so far. So if you do find the video informative or helpful at any point, don't forget to hit that like and sub button. It really helps out the channel a lot, and you'll never miss out on any Call of Duty news or updates. But let's go ahead and get into it. So the first thing is a completely different crossover has now dropped into the Call of Duty store, and that's one that we've already previously talked about. Call of Duty did drop a new trailer. That is the Bluntman and Chronic Tracer Pack bundle. We did get the Jay and Silent Bob bundle around a week or two before, so that already dropped, and then now they're releasing the second one. All this obviously for 420. There is a 420 event also scheduled, which was supposed to release around this time, but if you guys recall, Season 3 was initially delayed by like 2.5 weeks or something like that, so that made it to where the timing is completely off with the events that Call of Duty is going to be releasing. So the 420 event, the limited time modes, which I believe is called the Blaze of Glory, that is all going to be releasing during the mid-season update for Season 3. Now, on top of pretty much the operator bundle that dropped today, which I'm going to go ahead and showcase here so you guys could see that, there is always a second crossover that will always come in towards the later half of a season, and those are the bigger ones, the ones that involve multiple operators, multiple different store bundles, event passes, things like that, which we're going to talk about later in the video. And every time Call of Duty will keep the information under wraps, and they won't tell you about it in the blog post up until the actual event is about to start, usually during the Reloaded update, but they always somehow end up getting leaked. Last season, we ended up getting TMNT. That was leaked a couple weeks before it actually even dropped. Today, we ended up getting a new leak for a different crossover, and that is Call of Duty and Mission Impossible. Now, this information comes in from the Ghost of Hope, who is an insider. He has a lot of very good information that usually does end up happening, so his track record is pretty good, and that's why we cover him here on the page. But remember, because this is a leak, just take this information with a grain of salt, because literally anything could happen. Call of Duty could delay this, cancel this. This could be misinterpreted. Maybe it's just for like a movie poster or something like that. But anyways, the Ghost of Hope tweeted this out, and he said, "Your mission, should you choose to accept it." And then he posted two images. The first one is of the Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning movie poster, and then the second one is of Black Ops 6. So he's basically telling us that Call of Duty and Mission Impossible are going to be having some sort of a crossover with each other. Now, if you take a look here at the date of this movie, it's going to be coming out on May 23rd, which is going to be during the duration of Season 3 Reloaded, which means that it's probably going to be for that mid-season update. Remember, as I said in the past, all the biggest collabs are probably going to be during the Reloaded update. And considering Mission Impossible is something that's very, very popular, it's probably going to be treated with that respect, right? Now, before we talk about the details, just want to let you know that I have not seen the entire series, so please don't roast me. I may get some information wrong. I just did quick Google searches. But if I'm wrong, please correct me down below in the comments. But from what I remember from the couple of films that I've seen, what I can say is that it is a very realistic type of movie. It's first set in 1996, which matches the storyline for Black Ops 6. Now, for those of you guys who may not know what it is, basically it's about a series where it says right here, when the US government operative Ethan Hunt, who's the main character, Tom Cruise, and his mentor, Jim Phelps, go on a covert assignment that takes a disastrous turn. Jim is killed, and then Ethan becomes a prime suspect in the murder, whether I think he may have been framed. I'm not entirely too sure, but he's now a fugitive. Now, he goes on to recruit a hacker named Luther Stickle and a Maverick pilot named Franz Krieger, and to help him sneak into the heavily guarded CIA building to retrieve a confidential computer file that will prove his innocence. So that's like the film synopsis for the first movie. Now, in general, as the movies continued on, the core plot pretty much revolves around Ethan, an IMF agent, which we just talked about, and his team facing seemingly impossible tasks that require them to go undercover, fight rogue organizations, and protect the world from various threats, often while navigating treacherous situations and betrayals. So with the plot, you see some similarities with the Black Ops storyline that we have right now, and this is definitely a crossover that just makes sense to bring into Call of Duty. Now, the thing is, the original movie obviously may not have some of the newer characters that we're gonna have with the upcoming Mission Impossible Final Reckoning film that releases later on next month. It seems like, according to the Ghosts of Hope, the crossover is not going to be with the 96 version, but potentially with the version that's going to be coming out in theaters. So that means there's going to be a different set of characters. So in terms of potential operators, we first have the original ones that we talked about. So you have Ethan Hunt, he's a main character. Tom Cruise basically getting an operator. That's pretty obvious. You then also have the other two, Luther as well as Franz. But then now in the newer one, which has 3 different stars, you also have Ethan. There is one called the White Widow, and then there is also Grace. So these 3 are from the newest movie, so potentially they can pick any of these characters and bring them in as a part of the crossover. If you guys notice, with the second part collaborations, we always get an event pass, so don't forget about that. That means that we're probably going to see one of these operators as the premium event pass reward. The 2 free operators that we usually get, probably some henchmen that they eliminate or kill off in the movie. That it makes the most sense. And then there's also going to be the actual operator bundles hitting the store. I'm going to guess Ethan's is going to be the one available in the store. And then there's also going to be the potential other ones. And then also, because as I mentioned earlier, I didn't watch the movies, there may be some fan favorite characters, some people that I didn't mention that could potentially also come in as a part of this crossover. But alongside this, I'm hoping that this is going to be a much bigger event that will not only involve an event pass and some bundles, but maybe even a limited time mode, some new DLC weapons that may be coming in from the show, very similar to what we saw with the Ninja Turtles, all getting their types of equipment. So I'm hoping that this could be a much bigger collab than what we know so far. Now remember, as we spoke about before, this is just word of mouth. This is just coming in from the Ghosts of Hope. He didn't obviously provide any sort of details or didn't give us any other intel on this, and we don't have any information in the file, so other leakers haven't seen anything. Whatever it is that they plan for this crossover has just not been added into the game yet. Will probably be added once the Season 3 Reloaded update is live. Now, the biggest worry about this event is it may not be that big, and there's a couple of indicators for that. So if it does release during Season 3 Reloaded, we have already gotten 2 confirmed events that are going to be happening. One of them is going to be the Blaze of Glory. This is going to be that 420 event. Limited time modes have already been confirmed for that. So one for Warzone, one for multiplayer. Nuketown is also getting a map overhaul update. So there is that event, and it could potentially last 2 weeks if they're going to give it an LTM. Then there's also another event coming in for the Call of Duty Endowment. That one potentially maybe like a week-long event, and then that would leave us off with 1 week, because usually a Reloaded update will last 4 weeks, and this means that we may potentially see this event only here for a week. And usually event passes last a little bit longer than that. They're here for like 2 weeks, so unless they overlap the events, I'm not entirely sure what the scheduling is going to be. Will they delay Season 3 Reloaded a little bit longer because of the fact that they had to delay Season 3 in the first place? Will they sort of start cutting content down and maybe not providing as much as the Ghosts of Hope actually teased in the past? He said unannounced Season 3 Reloaded content has been delayed for other seasons. So I hope it doesn't happen with Mission Impossible, but because Call of Duty has not announced it, they do have the option to delay into Season 4. Anyways, that's all that I got for you guys in this video. I'm definitely going to keep you guys updated, because we're going to start seeing some updates. Maybe things are going to start being revealed. Call of Duty may announce something or drop a teaser trailer. So I'll keep you guys informed. Be sure you hit that sub button so you don't miss out on any news. And then we're also going to start talking about the Season 3 Reloaded update and all of the content that we know about it so far. So look forward for that. But that is all that I got for you guys in this one. Thank you for tuning in, and hopefully I'll be seeing you guys back on the channel again. Peace.